Hey, welcome to another edition of Funny Accents, the podcast. And here we are with Eugenia Kuzmina. How do you pronounce it?
Oh my God, I feel like I'm in an ICE interview. I'm joking. Maybe not. No. How you pronounce it? Well, if you want to break your tongue, you can pronounce it Eugenia Kuzmina. Good luck.
Eugenia Kuzmina. That's good. Yeah, that's
It's
good.
pretty
Yeah, yeah.
good.
I can do that. I can go. I only know in Russian one word that is what my grandmother used to tell me in Bulgarian, which is the butra, which is good morning. The
Dobre
butra,
utro. Oh my
the
God, I would never
butra.
understand.
Yeah,
It's okay, but
yeah.
that's a nice one. Usually people learn bad words. If you want, I can teach you some.
That's funny. That's funny. How you been doing? You started. How long have you been in the US?
Oh my gosh, this is a serious question. I'm not a Russian spy. Anybody who watches this podcast just know that, this is comedy. So, I actually, I've been living on my own since I was 15, and I moved to Paris, so English is like my third language. I dream in French in case you want to know, and I forget my Russian. Like I have an accent now when I speak Russian. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
I've been traveling since I was 15. I lived in Japan, London, all over, and of course, I finished in California because
I
of the
saw you, yeah. And you've been in the cover of Vogue more times
the
yeah,
Melania. Yes.
yeah. No, please don't compare it.
Yes.
Do not compare that. And how long have you been doing comedy? Because you're doing comedy for a while too.
It's strange because nobody ever called me funny. I think there's some people that are naturally funny. I was just always a weird child. And I was bored with Hollywood. Like, believe it or not, I was bored playing like prostitute number one or spy number four, and the lines are pretty much the same. I do a lot of jokes about that. And then I was doing a film with Woody Allen, which is called Fading Gigolo, that was directed by John Turturro, and we were all
Uh-huh.
in New York. And would just like Woody would play piano there at the Carlisle bar. And he's like, well, if you want to do something, you can take the reins in your hands. Like you don't have to complain about Hollywood and you can just write your material. And I called Jerry Corley, who is still my mentor and dear friend, and he has a class where he teaches kind of basics of writing stand-up. And it is like writing music. I think, we all have our voices, like everybody has their personal voice, which is really hard to find. But I work now with like Barry Cats, and we're doing actually a great showcase at Improv. So it's been a while, I started maybe 10 years ago, but it took me a while, obviously, as a blonde Russian model
Yeah.
to
But you
spice.
you take advantage of that. You get into the stage. I saw your set. You get into stage with
I
that
know.
music all like
Well, my manager
modeling.
told me like, oh, if you really want to be successful stand up, you should look like you haven't showered for 5 days. And I was like, no, this is just not me. I tried.
Ah,
And then I was like, you know what? I usually wear gowns and even at home, like this is my night gown. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I decided I should be myself, and it actually paid off. Like I feel there's not a lot of models who do comedy. I started Models of Comedy, and some people that are
yeah,
on your
right.
show that've done that, like Senia. And yeah, I mean, it's really fun. I think we're all small, group of people, right, who are
Yeah,
really weird and messed up or like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
very
yeah,
honest.
yeah.
And I just love supporting other comedians. Like, thank you so much for having me on your show. I think it's hilarious, actually, as an idea to do that. Like, how did you come up with a show?
With funny accents, it was the only way to create a bundle that support us all the weirdos among the weirdos. We don't even talk normal, which is the only thing that you need to do this. Yeah, it's weird. And
It's
we've
really
been in San Diego, in Reno. We have been here in LA, in several places that we'd rather forget. Yeah, yeah,
would rather forget. What
yeah.
what is your dream location for the show? Like, where would you see it, for anybody listening here?
I don't know. It's like all over the country. I think that you have you been all over the country and they look at you like you're weird, like oh,
Yeah,
what are you doing? Like in can I just been in Kentucky and
that's true. You know, like when you go outside of LA, people can't even understand when you order Starbucks. Like you literally
yeah,
have to like pronounce it
they
and
look at you like yeah from another
well,
planet.
aliens. Well, I think we should go on tour. Listen,
Yeah,
I'm so down to that. Just let us
yeah.
know. Let's start in Vegas and go across the country.
I almost go to Vegas today, but I was gonna go for the open mic of Wise Guys, and but I came. Was staying today for the Laugh Factory here, the Long Beach.
Oh,
So it's
great. You know, I
weird.
posted last time, but I never showed up. So like hopefully wise guy is not gonna kill me. I was like such a wise
Oh
guy.
yeah. Oh, it's nice. Wise Guys is great setup for anybody that's listening. Like if you want to go, it's a great place. I mean, you have great comedians because you have the locals plus the people visiting, and everybody knows that they had to go there. Everybody wants to be there. I saw Dave Attell on this Saturday there.
Oh, how cool. Yeah, it seems
Yeah.
like, you know, there are a lot of webs. Like, how did you start doing stand-up?
Oh, I did. I was gonna get married. I didn't. I wrong. So, and I got fired from. I got laid off at work at the TV station, and with that, I was like, I was gonna be working from home again. The dog next to me, so I was like, yeah, I'd rather get out of the house at least at 6, and I started doing a course here, like close by in Huntington Beach, and with that I started, and it was kind of weird. And I come from advertising, from the creative side of advertising, so it was kind of yeah, yeah. I didn't even realize that. Oh, I am
Portable.
a writer, so yeah, I get to accommodate that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you had the nerd fantasy though. I'm famous. I'm gonna get all the girls. That never happened. It never happened. And,
You watch.
yeah,
No.
look at me now. Yeah,
Oh
but
my
you
God.
did stand up in Paris. You did stand up all over the world.
I
Where?
did. In Paris, I did it in French, actually, believe it or not. And I was really super nervous. They're so nice. Like if you ever go to Paris, just find a club and they put you on, I think it's called the fridge. It literally come out from the fridge, from the door of the fridge, and we just stopped by with my friends. We kind of joking, like, "Oh, let's ask them if we can do stand up." And they're like, "Yeah, like you know, send me your materials." And then the next day, I was on the show, and people are literally there's old French audience, so I don't even know they speak English. And I took another comedian. And I'm like, well, if something fails, you know, I have to translate it plus do the jokes, and would they even get the jokes? But they were super, super nice. Actually, people are just if you tell stories, like I think they have very different style, you know, from American friends. But it was really fun. I had a lot of fun. And then I went to Tokyo and did it at the Tokyo bar there. And it was for all the Americans. It's like one of the best places in Tokyo, and they have a huge community. And it
Yeah,
was amazing. It was hilarious. The guys, they just came here, but I would give advice like wherever you travel, now just call the clubs. And if
yeah.
you have a tape, like that's so great. Like, you know, that
Yeah,
you can
yeah, yeah, yeah.
send it.
Yeah, my first holiday, well, last year I went all the way to Austin and back, and I went hopping and Tucson, Arizona, and I went New Mexico, and I went Austin, Dallas, and back. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
went all the clubs there. I went, like, it was Roscoe in Austin. I tried to do like Kill Tony, but it was fair. I failed. No, no, yeah,
You're just so easy on yourself, Pablo.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was terrible.
I'm
Kilton
so
is not easy.
deprecating. You're so good. I mean, every time I see you, it's like you're just natural on stage, you know, and I think it's just so
Oh,
hilarious. I'm dying on
and
your shows.
so you did models of comedy. I saw you at the hotel. What was that? The hotel
Oh,
here
Roosevelt Hotel.
at
Yeah.
the yeah.
Yeah, we want to do it more like at the golf clubs and kind of like talking about marketing. You know, I think there is place to exist for so many different shows. And like I love your concept so much. I think it's just you bring so much diversity and it's so needed in that, you know, and like the same with models of comedy. Like there's so much space for all of us to do everything. It's just how you market it too, right? I remember like I did one of your shows. And there were a lot of Russians and Russian, like, and nobody laughed. It was like, And the only guy like who was Russian, he only laughed at one joke when I said, in Russia, if you laugh, you're considered to be mentally ill. And like the guy laughed at that joke. So I think it's like rich.
But it's true, isn't it? Like it's tough. No, it doesn't belong to the context, isn't it? That tough people. I remember my Bulgarian side of the family in Argentina, in the Patagonia, in the cold side of the because they moved to the cold side of Argentina, and they were more serious, more like a dry. It was like, yeah,
I
this is
know.
no,
They're
yeah,
like testing you, like you
yeah,
just really have to jump for laughs, It's not like, what else am I gonna do? Just, take the
yeah.
clothes off. Like, what else?
Uh, How was it? How was it that combination from the fashion world with models of fashion and I saw you got like six models and they were like it was really modeling
Yeah.
situation, especially at the Roosevelt and
Yeah.
and and the regular comedy crowd that were not like the cutest
It's
people
funny.
or elegant or even well put together or shower sometimes. Yeah, shower
I
is like yeah. How?
Yeah, well, Barry Katz, he gave me like idea about that because I wanted to do a show at Delilah, and he's like, well, why don't you put something in Vegas really funny with like girls who are models. And then we were like, we were so excited about it until it came time to cast. And we're like, where are we going to find funny models? Like, this doesn't exist. Like, what are we going to do? Of course, Barry likes to give me challenges. So I went out and got Daria Barriula, who is like amazing casting director. And we actually found a lot of really incredible talent, and everybody's doing so well now, I know a lot of people were on your show, right? Like Xenia
Uh-huh.
and Irina, Voronina. Like I
Yeah.
think they're hilarious. Actually, Xenia, a lot of my friends always call me like, you have to check this girl, you have to check this girl. And like it's always Xenia, because I
Yeah.
think she's very popular online. Like I'm really, really excited. I'm like, oh, we're friends, like I know her too. But my friends are everybody like really loves her style of comedy. And Irina, we did shows at the Comedy Store, and she was a Playboy model. So it was really nice. Actually, it's so funny because the producer always will put us like one after another, and they would think that we would be like very competitive, but we became really good friends. Um, and yeah, I mean, there are like Jane Summers, who is from
Mhm.
China. She's
Uh-huh.
doing really well. She's on tour now, and Mario as well. I think he's like finishing his
You
special.
got Mario too, Mario Adrian?
He did, yeah. He did a couple of my shows, not the main one that we recorded, but we had everybody on our roster, like a lot, like Dominica Van Santen.
Yeah,
She did my show,
from
and
Venezuela.
Tash, yeah, Tash did my show. Like, yeah, a lot of different people. There's a lot of talent. Like, I don't think you can judge on how you look. Modeling was kind of strange for me as a job because my dad was a nuclear scientist, so. I never thought I would finish like talking about garments. And
Ah,
then I was fired because I talked too much from Chanel job. And my first thing is like, oh my God, like did I gain weight? Like what happened? They're like, you talk too much. And I was like, okay. So I shut up until I needed some kind of therapy. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
started doing comedy. It's definitely like a therapy. I was actually talking to my therapist, and she's like, promise me you're not gonna use it as a joke, because then you're not gonna actually like work on yourself. And I'm like, well, I'd rather make myself laugh, which is a better therapy for me.
yeah. That's good. Yeah. So your dad was a Russian. Uh, um,
He
uh,
was the first responder to Chernobyl. He was literally like the right hand of Kurchatov. And when I was a child, like he used to work on well, he had to work on, nuclear bomb. I say then he met my mom and I became a bombshell. Obvious progression, But he used to work on like rockets and Russian rockets, like
hold
advise
on,
how to
hold on.
build them.
Sorry, the Roomba activates itself at 5.
Oh,
So
that's,
you were
like
saying,
as I
yeah,
was talking about
yeah,
nuclear,
yeah.
that
That's
activated.
how it does. Yeah, it got
Siri.
jealous.
Okay. Yeah, everything is listening now, all the devices, right? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so I mean, I wanted to go to space and be an astronaut, but then the scout who found me like for modeling, he's like, "Well, you're totally crazy. Like, you better stick with modeling." So
And
I
you
was
were gonna study some engineering, something like that, and
I mean,
then
I
no,
was, but you know, in Russia, everything is so corrupt. And also, like, I was really bored in school. I was always questioning the Soviet propaganda and like why. And they're like, no, just be like everybody else, like workers. You know, we grew up in a working society where you're
yeah.
not allowed to question things or like be entrepreneurial, which of course, like I did. I just got my uniform and made it into a bikini because I thought it would be a very good thing. And then I had to apologize for like the whole school and that, I have to like
You
follow.
made a bikini from the mono the
Oh,
Soviet no way, that's funny.
it's
That's funny.
the part of the uniform is this like orange thing. I don't know if you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
see.
yeah.
It's called like Pioneer, so it's like really hard to earn it and it's supposed to say something, but it was like end of Soviet Union. So I just thought the color was really bright and it's really hard to find materials, and I was like,
That's
I can use
funny.
that for something.
So you saw the
Collapse.
yeah, the Marxist
Yeah.
dream collapse, like the
Well,
entire
everything was
thing.
always collapsing, and like all the scientists, they became oligarchs, and it became Wild West after. There was like,
Yeah,
it's so funny because I always say everybody in my class graduated and said that they want to be a lawyer, and there's still no laws in Russia, so I don't know.
yeah.
Like, I think I chose a better profession than,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah. Yeah, well, Argentina is not it's not that different. Like 4 years or 5 years ago, they one a group of nuns, they found outside of the convent, one of the cameras was showing a guy throwing a bag inside the convent, and they went to look, and they opened the bag, and they're like $3 million, something like that.
Oh my
And
gosh.
they looked for the guy, and it was the secretary of something, like feeling guilt, remorse, Catholic guilt. Talk about Catholic guilt. The guy
Oh,
was returning the money, and obviously the guy, it was a scandal. And the nuns, obviously, you're not gonna tell the nuns, shut up, don't,
it's
because it's like
hilarious.
they don't care. Like, yeah, it's basically a nun. She's talking with God, and
Oh my,
so it was like, yeah, yeah,
it's
talking about
funny.
corruption, but in a funny kind of a Fellini way. Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
hilarious. I hope you have the joke, about like the nuns and like the $1 million. I think it's funny. There's definitely something. Like I use the joke. I say, they ask me which religion I am in Russia, and I say I'm Orthodox, which is basically like Catholic without the forgiveness bullshit.
Oh yeah, yeah. My mom still goes to that. My mom still goes to that church in Buenos Aires, and Buenos Aires is so eclectic, but at the end of the world, that they have like six churches, but huge, and
Mm,
because the population, the Orthodox population is huge, so and they all go there, and you can tell that everybody is like a Russian, Slavic, something, because it's like,
I know.
yeah,
Which,
yeah, don't,
they just like to torture themselves. It's like there's no forgiveness. You're just always guilty.
so
So it's
yeah,
like
yeah, and
the
you don't
guilty
have
shame.
benches.
No, yeah.
You don't have benches, isn't it? It's not that the
Yeah,
Catholic.
I mean, I remember just like being tired of sitting. Yeah, I don't think we have benches. We had to stand straight for like two
Yeah,
hours. And
yeah,
I used to be like very religious, believe it or not. Like instead of going to parties and clubs, I used to go to church. You know?
that's funny. Yeah, yeah. No, but they don't. I was the first thing I saw when I went to pick up my mom once, and it was they don't have benches. What do you sit? No, they give you a chair if you're really old. They give you a chair. Like what?
I know.
Like, and the guy looks way more severe with that
Mm.
beard and all dressed in black. It's not
Well,
like the public look. The public look like a medieval drag queen. This guy looks like an angry medieval drag queen,
I
isn't it?
know. Well, I
Yeah,
think it's a good training to become a comedian, right? Because when you're on stage, you literally like have to endure so much, right? Sometimes you bomb, like no matter what you do, and you
yeah,
just have to keep
yeah.
going.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Irina gave me one of the first opportunities to be on stage. I'm actually here because of her, because I was doing open mics here in Orange County. In
Mm,
open mics in Orange County, it's like your friends laugh, the others don't laugh. That kind of
yeah.
situation. Until you realize that, and you're like, man, this is not clear. And I went to the club that she was running. She was the
Chateau.
booker, yeah, the comedy chateau,
Oh
and
yeah.
she put me there on a Wednesday, and the people love it. I kill it, and the people love it. I was like, man, this is working.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I could see like na you're just natural, you know.
For that, no, I'm not. Yeah, no, no, you're not. We all look natural up there. Like, you getting in there with the modeling thing. So you went from the collapsing post-Soviet dream. You
Yeah,
moved from there to Paris.
I know by myself, but it wasn't that glamorous, you guys. You know, it's like 10 castings and Jeffrey Epstein, you know.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
that glamorous. It's
15 years old, like, yeah,
by yourself, you know,
yeah,
and usually it's one step like above human trafficking, I say. I mean, now there are many laws. They actually have a alliance, but before that they used to come all the take the immigrants, you know, from like third world countries because we would do anything for a buck, you know, and
yeah.
there's no plan B, so to say. I mean, I was very lucky, like I had the best agents, but I still got into questionable situations, you know. But
You have a job with that. You was that starvation that
yeah,
that
yeah,
was
somebody
your
got offended. My friend came, she like didn't want to say, but she was offended. She's like, it's a serious thing. We really grew up on food lines and you know, I don't know what's so offensive about it, but like I was very curious that
food
somebody
lines in Russia. That's
yeah.
but that's not starvation. That's, yeah, bureaucracy. You're gonna
But sometimes you stand in line and you finish and they t take all the food. So like we had time where we had no food. We had like
oh
literally you know, oatmeal and some sugar, and we were hungry a lot of times. I mean, you know, creatively, like we cooked a lot of things out of sugar. Like I said, lollipops, like how many things can you make? So, but it taught
oh.
me, you know, it taught me a lot of things. Like I still, I have same attachment to food like I have to my man, you know, zero knowledge. Okay. My attachment issues.
That's weird. Yeah, I remember I met this girl. She was an economist from Bulgaria, and
Yeah.
she told me that they were standing in line
Yeah.
even after the communist regime collapsed, and people were going to tell them like, "Listen, this is closed. This is over," and they
Oh, yeah.
didn't know what to do. Who was going to take care of them? And it was like
Yeah.
nobody. It's like you're on your own. That has to be. What do you remember from that moment? From like,
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, like all of my dad's friends, they became oligarchs. I mean, I lost my dad when I was like 15, but they all became oligarchs. And if I needed a passport or some sort of a thing, you know, I knew who to call or like
yeah.
KGB. Need to get rid of somebody that I had to, like my first husband. You know? It's yeah. I remember a lot. I mean, I remember when Versace came and like all these kind of things. And that's when the new Russians, like rich Russians, they were dressing in really bad fashion. You know,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah, yeah,
Versace, like Dolce and
yeah,
Gabbana.
yeah, yeah.
This dress is by Versace, by the way.
In Argentina, we call Versace Mersace
Oh,
because
really?
it was Mersa. It was like kind of a poor, tacky sense of
Yeah.
fashion, and it was like a why is this that gold? But the guy was the celebration of that moment, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
in story.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of hilarious. Like people just, you know, were I remember like the Terminator came out. I think I was 10 and I sneaked into the theater and I was like, okay, like this is like the biggest thing. I was so impressed with Schwarzenegger. And then I was so excited to meet him actually about 10 years ago. He's hilarious too. He's really funny. Maybe sometime we can kidnap
You
him and
meet Schwarzenegger? Yeah, that's
yeah, yeah.
cool.
It was really hilarious. But that was kind of my introduction to, you know, America. And then Bounty chocolate. Like I ate so much Bounty chocolate that I started having allergy on that. You know, I was
Yeah,
just like so addicted to it.
yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I remember people from Cuba telling me that when their friends of people coming from Cuba after them and
Yeah.
going to the supermarket and they found them paralyzed looking at the plates like, why I want mayo. Which one is the mayo? Why is there 20 mayos? Are you
Well,
crazy?
it's
What's
funny
going
because,
on?
you know, yeah, we grew up like in, I don't know if you guys had it, But we grew up with like a lot of help from America, from Red Cross. Like that's where we got our clothes. We're just happy to have some clothes, so there wasn't even fashion. And then I remember my dad came from like one of because he used to go abroad with like KGB. They were, looking at them. They couldn't go without the agents. But he brought this like exotic food, and we were eating this food for a week in like a can. And only then, like, many years later, I realized it was like cat or dog food.
Oh,
And we were just thinking it's like a big delicacy.
yeah. That's funny. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's weird. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, yeah. So your dad was going around. He was a nuclear scientist. So he was like like part of the secrets of the Soviet. You
He
don't fuck
was,
around with
yeah.
him.
I mean, he always wanted to work with an environment. That's why, like, I work with a lot of environment and animals, just supporting the wildlife. Work with wolves a lot. But yeah, I mean, he wrote a book, but it was stolen, like, after he died, you know. But he was quite famous in Russia, yeah.
They stole his book. Why? So
Well,
he
he
didn't
was.
reveal the secrets. What?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he was writing about, just the climate and how everything is like he had a lot of insight, into how
Oh,
nature reacts and things like that. He was very passionate and about people because they didn't say the scale of the disaster, so
yeah,
it affected a lot of people. So I think he felt really guilty about that, and he studied a lot of nature and kind of instilled into me that curiosity, and
yeah.
supporting the environment as well.
Yeah, people forget about that, but that thing keeps coming on, isn't it? It's just about time we're gonna end up all living in Colorado on top of the hill, like a kind of a cartoon situation, because
I know.
the oceans are rising. There's no
You don't
way
have your
around.
bunker? What are you talking about?
Yeah, we're gonna go to live on top of some place. Yeah, it's
Oh
gonna
God.
be weird.
Or
Yeah,
move to
yeah.
Mars. Like can still do comedy there.
Well, oh yeah, or going back like Peter Thiel, he moved
Uh,
to Argentina with the
Oh,
entire
he
family.
was. He's
Yeah,
my
it's
neighbor here. You
he
know,
was. He
yeah.
was. He has a
Yeah,
house there close to your place.
I know. I can spy in his windows. Somebody told me it's not a good idea, so I didn't because I don't want to disappear.
Yeah, he moved to Argentina and he bought a house like $12 million in kind of the most exclusive place there. And he moved
Oh,
the kids. He registered the kids there.
oh,
So
wow.
everybody's speculating what the fuck this guy knows to
I
move
know.
here. Like, but everybody's speculating that he started like a what because they started kind of in Honduras. You know that they sent back the president that was in jail for trafficking, blah blah blah.
Mm.
That guy went back because he was the one allegedly that was that allowed them to have their own island, and Peter Thiel is allegedly the one of the main owners of that corporation that
Oh,
not
gosh.
only bought the island but they had their own laws, and it's kind of its own country owned by a corporation. So
Oh,
when he moved there, everybody got freaked out because it's Argentina, it's what the freaking Mengele thing
I
are
know.
you gonna do here? It's like
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
all these conspiracy theories, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's like my joke with the Nazis went to Argentina, the Pope came in from Argentina. Are
Oh,
you thinking the Pope is Adolf Hitler in disguise? It's like, because it's like
the world is
everybody go,
crazy. It's crazy.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, the movie of Eichmann is like is like 4 years old, and they got
Mhm.
him there, and it's Eichmann. It's not like a small, insignificant Nazi. That was the important Nazi. Yeah, yeah. It was,
Crazy.
yeah, yeah.
Oh
It
my
was
gosh.
weird. It was weird. So and you've been in movies too. Not only
I
that
know.
one movie, Alliance. I saw you in a bunch of movies too.
I think I've done like over 100. Barry Katz is always like laughing. He's like, "Well, you've done movies more than like anybody." I was just like, such a workaholic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if I'm not creative, like I need to be creative all the time. So I actually love it. I love being on set more than anything. I don't like the business of it. Like that's a little bit strange to me, but I mean, I do. I'm part of the business, right? What can I say? But like, I don't like the ego part of it. I just love being on set with other artists and playing around and like being a child, because I never had a childhood. So I think I'm
Yeah.
overcompensating.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's just to play side of this. The other, they were asking me on an interview, and it was like, I work all my life behind the screen, like on television or advertising, and now I'm in front of the screen,
Yeah.
and it's weird. Like, I don't have to tell anybody what to say, but I can say whatever the fuck I want. Yeah. So,
You can direct yourself,
yeah, now it's my own mistake. This is pure me. Yeah, yeah, it's weird. So, and you went Japan, Paris,
Yeah.
and you did comedy in
London.
England too.
Yeah, London is really fun, actually. I thought it would be really hard because they have such a sarcastic sense of humor. Like Ricky Gervais is like one of my favorite people. If you ever watch his Oscar, speech, I just
Yeah,
like Nikki is great. Nikki Glazer is really fun. I enjoy, her work as well. But Ricky is really, really British in that sense. So I was nervous doing, the show there, but I guess when you have an accent, like it doesn't really matter. You
yeah.
whatever you do, like it's kind of, it didn't help me in Hollywood, but it did help me in comedy.
Isn't it weird here in LA? Nobody acts surprised, isn't it? It's like it's even like, oh yeah, and you go here up there, upstate in San Francisco, and everybody's like, oh, where were you from? And they
I
ask you, and they're
know.
being polite and interested. Here in LA, it's like, nah, yeah, who are you? Yeah, here, be fun. You have
Like,
five
what can you
minutes.
give to me? I don't care where you're from.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
very
not
specific.
even that. Not only that. It's dating. It's dating. It's like you
uh,
stop acting like a supermodel. You're not.
it's
I know
so hard when you're
supermodel.
married. So
Yeah.
hard.
Well, everyone is funny. Yeah. With Irene, I was like that too. She was always working, especially
Mm.
at the chateau. She was like, I saw her like doing everything, and then somebody told me,
Yeah.
she started with this, she started with that. She was a playmate. I was like, what? Like she's working
Okay.
like crazy. Yeah. Yeah, you never stop in this. Yeah, you will have 5 more minutes if you want. If you
Oh,
have to
yeah, yeah,
go, let
yeah.
me know.
Sorry, my kids, they're like, I mean, I used to hide my kids when I started modeling because nobody was very excited about,
Uh-huh.
I thought like, oh, I have these kids, I had them very young and like I can come back and like fly around. But people were like canceling my job. So I used to hide
Oh
them.
yeah, you have two?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Yeah, they
How old are
definitely.
they?
Well, my son is 18 and my daughter is like 14. Now they can like totally go to the clubs. Hopefully they can come to one of my shows, but usually they do not think that I'm funny or
Yeah.
have any talent. So they're like
Yeah,
they're
it's
really
weird.
good. They have no filter, they'll tell you how it is. They went to the set of Guy Ritchie one time and I think it was a gangster movie. It's called like Operation Fortune that was shot with Matthew McConaughey. And like my son looked at the monitor and he's like talks to Guy Ritchie. He's like, I don't believe these people. Like it's not believable. So he was scored from the
Oh,
set. He's
yeah.
like, but they're
Well, yeah. I have a photographer, a friend, this photographer told me that his daughter, he's 9 years old, told him like, "No, you're doing better. You're ruining it. Even so, it's not." Like, and he was working on the light. And everything started because he told me about a campaign that they did with the new aesthetic of the uh, basically smartphone,
Mhm.
which translates as very poor aesthetic. but
Yes,
but he was like, yeah, that is a thing now, and if you go away from that, you deviate from their conversation, which is that the aesthetic conversation from the new generation is like that, isn't it?
I know. It's TikTok, Let's
Yeah,
dance. It's nature.
yeah. It's TikTok, and I see them. People forget that Huntington Beach is next to Garden Grove. Garden Grove is Little Saigon. Translate into there's a park close by, and the other day we were talking with friends. There's always some part of the park with a bunch of Asian girls dancing
That's true.
because they're doing a TikTok thingy, and I'm like,
That's
what?
true.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind
TikTok,
of a.
I have to start it. I haven't started TikTok. I'm like mastered my Instagram, but yeah,
Oh, I did TikTok. I have one for funny accents, one for me, one for
that's so
and
smart.
one for we're gonna create one for the interviews in Spanish in for the comedians in Spanish, which
That's
is
so
like
great.
Yeah, it's weird that the combination of cultures, like people, like it's part of the normal conversation, but it's not. You know, you
Yeah.
need to, when you go online, you need to translate that into that, and that's the reminder to, like, hey, this is not normal. Yeah,
Well,
you're
I just
extra.
I think it's so generous of you to give like a lot of comedians, like this platform. I think it's so nice, like you're
Oh,
not only thinking of yourself, but you give like a voice to like other comedians from other countries. And I think it's really interesting because at your shows, I learned so much about different cultures that I wouldn't normally, and it's just fascinating facts. I think
oh,
it's
thank you. Yeah, we come from different weird places, isn't it?
yes,
The conversation about your dad, the KGB, becoming oligarchs, the
yes,
book, or the nun, finding
yes.
the, yeah, finding the, yeah. There's another comedian that told me that no, we cannot do it because I'm not gonna stay with a flag behind me because it can be politically incorrect, and you don't want to be
I'm
politically
just
incorrect. Yeah,
canceled. It's like what I'm canceled even before opening my mouth as a model, and like
yeah.
there's no, there's nothing
I
to.
told one of the kids of the canceling culture, I told them, like, dude, when I grew up in Argentina, there was a military regime. If they cancel you, they don't find the body. You know,
Yes,
that
exactly.
that's
Yes,
canceling. That's canceling
that's
for
true.
real.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
still have a lot of things to push for, right?
Yeah. Isn't it? They disappear 30,000 people. Yeah, you don't think
My
it.
gosh.
Yeah, they're not fooling around. These people keep order or die.
I
Yeah.
know. Well, hopefully Epstein disappeared or died,
Oh, yeah, that theory that he's living in Tel Aviv. Yeah.
No, yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
we finished that with the
Okay.
canceling culture, but after. Thank you. Thank you for your time,
Okay.
Eugenia, and see you
Thank
around
you.
for, and especially for the next show. Okay?
See you guys. Okay. Thank you,
Bye
Papa.
bye. Take care.
How do I say it in your language?
Adios. Ciao.
Adios.
Ciao.
Adios. Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Tschüss.
Tschüss. Bye.